Go into detail. Tell me about Atlanta,
Right.
growing up there, and then why you moved to Connecticut.
Okay. Yeah, just growing up in Atlanta, it was real country. I grew up out there with my pops. My dad had wound up getting deported, and I had moved down here during high school. So moving down here was just a completely different atmosphere. Just moving back into a place where it's like now I'm in a cluttered space. Growing up with two older brothers and stuff, we kind of had to share rooms together and stuff. So my mom was a single mom growing up, so it was just a tough time. But we never went to bed hungry, but we never really got to have what we always wanted. So as I've gotten older, uh, kind of enjoyed more life behind like what I grew up around. Just because not having things growing up just made me want to like strive to be a better person and strive to just want to go to college and be positive and have a positive impact on the youth.
So, what age did you come up?
I want to say like 15, 16.
So you were there for a minute.
Yeah.
And you was living with your dad or your brothers and your dad?
Nah, my brothers lived out here. My pops lived out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, that would be kind of like back and forth. So I came out to Connecticut like during the summers and stuff, like when I had no school and stuff. So I was already kind of like familiar with the area and stuff, but it was just kind of like a mixed hybrid type setting.
Something you miss from Atlanta?
That's so crazy. I just went down there at the beginning of this month. I went down there to go see my auntie. She lived down in Woodstock, but I just miss like the hospitality down there. Like everyone was so nice. Like what I mean, like you can really go down the street and conversate with somebody and like become friends with them, and you don't even know they're from a campaign. Obviously, the demographic is different down there now. It's a lot more YN. It's like it's different structure. But like a lot of people, a lot of Jewish people, a lot of Caucasian people, they moved into Atlanta and they started buying out a lot of the properties and stuff. So like the neighborhood that I grew up in, that whole thing's kind of like knocked down now, and it's just pretty much like built for like college students and stuff. Because I lived over in West Side Atlanta, so I grew up near Spark Street, so like White Oak. So when living over there, it was just kind of like it was really hoodish, broken down homes, like a lot of drug addicts and things of that nature. And then obviously the market kind of went upside down around probably like I don't know, probably like 2016, like during COVID. A lot of people came in, started buying out these properties and upscaling them, and you know the demographic just changed so much from what it used to be.
You highlighted that it was hoodish, that you and your brothers, you guys didn't really get the come up that you like a normal kid would want.
Right.
But you still, at least from my perspective, and a lot of people from Connecticut, you're successful.
Right.
Like you made yourself into a person.
Right.
So like normally, and I don't want to say normally because I don't want to put that on like the Black community, but we do see a lot of people, they kind of succumb to that. Talk to me about like what made you say, all right, like I need more for myself.
I think it was just more so like the structure of the household that I grew up in. Like I said before, I grew up with a single mom, and it was just me, my mom, and my two brothers and stuff. And I always wanted to do things with my brothers and stuff. And as I gotten older, like we kind of grown together, but apart at the same time. Like they went down their route, I went down my road, um, and just pretty much like as I was young, they was older than me. So my brothers was a couple years older than me. So growing up with them, they were always kind of like pushing me away and stuff. So, as I got older, like I kind of had to find my own route, my own niche because, as I got older, like the things that they was doing, I didn't want to do no more. And on top of that, my mom, she was out of work for a couple of years, so that forced me to kind of grow up early, like just having to grow up early and do things by myself. Like, I was like 13 years old going to pay bills. I was 13 years old walking to the laundromat, going to the store, shoveling snow as a kid. Like we just had to do a lot to kind of like put our best foot forward and to survive. Like just not having things in life just makes me like cherish things better. Like my family, none of them went to college and stuff, and I told myself if I'm able to kind of get a full ride to school, then I'm gonna take it and run with it. So I got a full ride to Southern. And I graduated in May last year. I was a first gen child. It was just a special privilege to me because a lot of people don't really get to see those opportunities. And, just cherishing it now and just getting into the business lane where it's like a lot of people don't know the structure on how to run a business and know how to operate and know how to talk to people in a correct manner. It's just all of these aspects is just shaping me to be a better person than I am today. So it's really no direct person or no direct thing that kind of like motivated me to do better. Obviously, my mom is one of them. Obviously, God is one of them. Also, we can put him first. But on top of that, like just seeing things around me, just like growing up in the neighborhood and like seeing gunshot victims and all of these things, like it just made me want to like outreach and want to see life differently. Anytime I go out the country, like my first thing is I want to go see the hood. Like I want to go see how people live. I want to go see what people have worse than me.
Do you see yourself going back? Like, is
For
that
sure?
so?
For sure.
Is that where you
It's
want?
definitely been in the plans for sure. It's definitely been in the plans. I definitely do want to move back down there. Just got to make sure that it makes sense. Like I definitely go back down there periodically for business or for family. But like I have a lot of clientele out here. I have a lot of clientele out there. I don't want to have to, start all the way over completely and become stagnant. You know what I mean? So I want to make sure that I have a blueprint on what I'm doing before I just up and leave my whole life up here because I did majority of my older childhood was brought up over here, in high school and stuff, et cetera. So I definitely do want to move back down there. I'm still trying to figure out the blueprint and move a certain way where it's like I'm able to kind of like be back and forth and still be able to like be that family.
Talk to me about. You have a lot of clientele down there.
Mm-hmm.
You're a photographer.
Correct.
Right. So talk to me about photography. How did you get into photography and why photography?
Photography is something that only you can see. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people try to get into this art and they don't necessarily know the real art behind it. Photography is something different than drawing and, painting a picture. I feel like anybody can draw a circle, anybody can draw an oval. But as far as like photography, it allows you to be creative, but it also allows you to branch out and open up new doors. Obviously, the same thing is like that with art. As far as visual art, as far as like draw art, I was in high school, I always had an eye for things. And my art teacher, she told me one day, hey, Jaquan, like, maybe you should just try visual arts. And only reason why she said that is because I sucked at drawing. I always sucked at drawing. Like, I couldn't draw a stick figure to save my life. But I always come with these bright ideas, and it's like, yo, I can't put it on a pen and paper, So she offered me to, apply to this program. It's a nonprofit organization that allows you to like start up your business as a high schooler, and they supplied me with money to get my first camera, and then from there I kind of just took off with it. I just feel like photography is just so different where it's like it allows you to like have to really think like far as like settings and like seeing other people's different art and stuff. When you see this, like, and you want to recreate it, but you want to recreate it in a different format. It's like you have to know how to navigate through the different settings, through the different culture, through the different vibrance, and as far as like even editing stuff, like editing stuff is so harder than people think. Like knowing how to just make people look good. I feel like where I really enjoy my photography at is just showing people like, a life through a different lens. It's just so crazy how you can just go on Google and see what life was before you were alive. And that's all through the photography. The Black Lives Matter and all the movements and all the racism. And you can go on Google and you can see like the whole process of what they did to Emmett Till and what the outcome was and like why people were so devastated behind like a tragedy like that. You know what I mean? So it's just so crazy on how photography works. I just think about things differently than a lot of people, but just seeing how the art is formed is crazy to me.
Do you still have that camera? That your first camera?
Nah, it's so crazy. Like, I didn't want to give it up, bro. I didn't want to give it up, but it was so crazy. Like, I really wanted to get a new camera. Everyone was just telling me, yo, you need to like. The problem is, like, I feel like what a lot of people get stagnant at is that they stay with the same quality throughout their whole business. You have to learn how to switch up your quality and give a different outlook on and perspectives of different footage because every camera is different. But it's like if you're performing with the same camera for years and years and years and not changing up your look and stuff, like it becomes very dissolved. And photography is just like the housing market. Like it goes up, it goes down, it goes in the middle, it stays. Like what I mean. So you have to learn how to be different because this is a brand where everybody's in it. Everybody's in celebrity photography. Everyone's in the food industry, and everybody's in the real estate industry. Like you have to bring something different to the table that the next person can't bring. You know what I mean? And you have to have that portfolio that a lot of people don't have. That people are going to look at it and say, "Okay, I see why this person booked them." You know what I mean? I see why they spent their hard-earned money to support this person. So I'm still sad about that camera, but
Yeah. Like places that you want to hit before it's all said and done, the Met Gala, the Grammys, like somewhere else to do photography, or is it like this is something that you want to keep close to home?
I feel like I did so much photography and different like subjects of photography. Like obviously people call me a freelancer. I call myself a celebrity photography because that's pretty much like where I gained a lot of my clientele at, was just producing a lot of like celebrity work, and a lot of people love celebrities and stuff. Me personally, I'm not fixated about celebrities, but to other people, they kind of live that life like that. But I feel like in that lane, it was cool to like, in the time being, and I still love it. I feel like once I graduated, I had to have a purpose. Just being in school for something that like I'm not doing in my life right now, as far as like photography. I didn't go to school for photography. I went to school for sociology and criminology minor. So like with the whole photography stuff, like it's something that I want to do for the rest of my life. Obviously, obviously this isn't my last stomping ground. I know moving forward, my own purpose was to find like an artist that is like up and coming and kind of like work with them throughout their whole career until they kind of get into the bigger stages. But a lot of that isn't reoccurring. I really love just being able to kind of show the city of Connecticut and Georgia, like where like the art is in the heart of the city. Just doing a lot of lifestyle shoots, a lot of studio shoots. I only really did one wedding in my whole life, but it's something that I definitely want to get into. We'll see where it goes. It's not something that like I plan on retiring from. Um, but I definitely do want to settle down with helping the youth out and trying to change how the world is.
I want to talk to you about support.
Mm.
I feel like a lot of people don't get a lot of support. Talk to me about a time where you feel like you wanted more support.
I feel like that's every day, bro. Like, I feel like it's every day. I feel like it's just crazy. Like I feel like people only call you when you need them, and I feel like a lot of people that I've needed the most at point in times in my life that I was able to kind of like go through. I feel like I have close friends that are like I'm able to kind of like have that shoulder to lean on when I do need them and assistance. I feel like me growing up so closed off as a person that it's been kind of hard for me to ask for help. I feel like even in the workspace, like aside from like photography and like my actual day to day life, like I don't usually go to people for problems. Like I feel like me bringing a burden onto somebody else is it's a lot, and you're kind of bringing your energy into that person's life, and you don't want that to stick with that person. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's every day. Like I feel like there's certain times where like I'll need like some sort of like coverage, and it's like me personally, like I'm such a loving person, bro. Like I get the shoulder, I get the shirt off my back to anybody if I could, bro. And it's like anytime I can't do something, like far as like an event, or if I'm double booked and I can't do anything, like I'm the first person to like call people and offer them a job and put money in their pocket and branch out to them and have them do, the job for me. What storm that never came to an end. I feel like a lot of people feel so stuck and hopeless You know what I mean? It's just all about being able to dig yourself out of a hole and not being able to, feel stuck. I feel like a lot of people feel stuck. They need that moral support and they don't have that support system. But I always tell people too, like, when you wake up in the morning, like, you looking at the mirror, like, it's only you. I would just say, like, just push yourself. Like, don't feel like you don't have nobody because at the end of the day, you always gonna have yourself, and nobody got you like you got yourself. So.
Live in a very parasocial society is where people feel like they know you because of what they see on social media. What do you wish people could just see or know about you that's not displayed, that's beneath the surface?
I feel like I'm a loving person, bro. I feel like people don't genuinely see like how I am as a person on my day to day life. Like, I go through a lot and I don't kind of show people that. I feel like that's kind of like personal, you know what I mean? But I feel like people don't also see like me just being me, like me being able to like go out and help people. Like there's been so many times where I've done so many good deeds with people that I don't even speak about. I feel like a lot of people do that for social media and they love speaking on it because it gets the attention and it, gives you your own flowers and you feel like you get stuff out of it. But I've definitely helped a lot of homeless people in the past. I've definitely helped a lot of youth. Working at my old job, like I've definitely helped a lot of kids, like, want to keep living, and if I was able to kind of like format that to where everyone can kind of like see it, I would love to do it, you know what I mean? But I feel like it's a pride thing. Like I feel like a lot of people, you can't let a lot of people into your gems because, that's when a lot of the hate starts and that's when a lot of people do start praying on your downfall. And I'm real heavy on praying and people, talking down on you and actually coming to life. So I do kind of stay away from like the positive stuff that I would like to like post on the day to day. But at the end of the day, it's always a work in progress and how you live life. So I definitely want to move it forward. I definitely do want to showcase that more.